Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. So yeah, so I'm one of the co-initiators of VitaDAO, and I'm going to talk today about incentives behind scientific progress with the Longevus and TLDR, which are kind of two initiatives we have in the publishing space as proof of concepts. So we all know that there's a lot of problems in how science happens these days. With VitaDAO, we've mainly started by focusing on funding. Today, I'm going to talk about publishing. That's kind of a newer set of initiatives for us. And of course, also at VitaDAO, we're very interested in commercializing the work as a way to kind of sustainably provide the funding. Yeah, so there. So in terms of the solution, obviously this is very kind of general ideas, and I'll go through specific examples for both TLDR and the longevist. But we think, like hopefully everyone here on this at this conference, we think tokens, blockchains, and peer-to-peer transactions kind of collectively can help facilitate the missing incentives that happen in science. So again, I'll not focus on tokens or kind of the peer-to-peer aspect, but I'll just kind of very vaguely allude to how blockchains can help with what we're talking about. So in terms of publishing, if you're not familiar, I think there's many issues, but kind of highlighting two of them here. I think particularly the biggest issue is that researchers, the people who are doing all the work, really are not getting a lot of the benefits. So there's just not incentives for them to uh, to basically to thrive in the system the way it exists today. So in particular, scientists pay journals, not the other way around. So scientists pay journals large and growing fees, often in many thousands of dollars, and those are huge amounts of money for most researchers to have other scientists do again basically to do free labor reviewing for the journal. So basically, the researchers do everything, including paying money and paying with their time, and then the journal kind of reaps all the rewards from that. And then on top of that, then they go turn around and sell it to people, where it really should be free. So people are starting to make use of what are called preprint servers. Kind of in this kind of archive name has popped up in quite a few places. So bioarchive, medRxiv, more related to medical stuff, and general archive, which is the original archive, which is a bit more dedicated to computer science, but also has some articles in biology and medicine. These are new. These are new preprint. These are new, basically websites where people can upload their research to them. They don't have the journal brand, but I think we're the value of that brand itself is debatable. So anyway, the provenance aspect is still quite important in research, and these preprint servers provide for that. All right, so I'll go through both the Longevus and TLDR, and I'll start with the Longevus. So we've actually already launched this. We're actually in our fourth quarter of issue for this overlay journal. So here's the website. You can go to it's at longevus.xyz. We have a whole collection of experts who are participating. I think really nice content we've assembled on this site. And so what actually is this site? This is specifically focused on publishing. It's what's called an overlay journal. So it's not a journal itself. It's something that basically sits on top of preprints. And what we mainly do is we basically vote on the top preprints of every quarter. So Q1, January through March, et cetera, et cetera. So we're in our fourth quarter now. And we have key opinion leaders both in academia and industry. Not just, we think it's important to get the perspective of industry, not just academics who have their own ideas about what's important. We are voting on content from the preprint servers, so in line with the spirit of things being open and accessible. And then we think this will benefit VitaDAO and the greater DeSci ecosystem in several ways. Of course, creating awareness, legitimacy. These are the KOLs are people that are known in the field, and of course review for traditional journals. Obviously, by voting and kind of highlighting certain articles over others. There's a knowledge transmission, and then lastly, in terms of VitaDAO, we're very interested in commercializing research and developing therapeutics and diagnostics. And so some of this early research, we think it can feed into our deal flow and help us shape projects which we think would have a commercial appeal. So in terms of the advantages, both TLDR and the longevity have a lot of the same advantages. So if you missed this slide here, it's quite similar when I talk about TLDR. But as I said just a minute ago, of course, scientists, the people doing all the work, are the ones who get compensated. So they're the ones in this system that are properly incentivized. We store the work on the blockchain in the form of IPFS. So DeSci Labs is making that possible. They have this nodes architecture, which you can happy to talk about at any time. And so that makes the storage of the preprints permanently accessible in a way that it actually is not happening with the preprint servers as they are today. So we think this is a better approach than what they're doing. And then I think very importantly, I think if you're just totally trying to disrupt what the status quo is doing, sometimes you can fly a little too close to the sun. So what we're doing is we're not trying to interfere with what happens with publishing. We're trying to we have a system that exists that can coexist. It's an overlay journal. People vote on articles. There's no stopping those people from posting those same articles on Nature and having them be accepted there. So we think it's just an independent process of evaluating the work, and we think it's superior because currently we have over 30 experts each time voting on the articles. So that's 30 key opinion leaders, and so if you compare that with what happens at journals like Nature, that's where they have like three reviewers and then an editor who maybe actually not have a ton of experience in the space. We think 30 versus 4 is better. So just kind of quantitatively, I think we have a better solution. Though again, it can coexist, and it's not trying to disrupt what the traditional journals already do. Okay, so the other site we have we've been developing is called TLDR, the Longevity Decentralized Review. This is a paid peer review service. The site isn't live yet, but here's just some screenshots of kind of the branding and how we're thinking the site would look. It has definitely some similarities to how a Reddit or a Hacker News would appear. All right, so what is this? So we're focusing here on peer review. This is independent, just having a journal is one thing. So that's what the longevity is. But TLDR is just focusing specifically on peer review and the fact that currently peer review is not a paid service. So all scientists, want to be, or many scientists want to be compensated to do peer review, and there's really no mechanism to do that. So that's what we set up about to change. And just for completeness, Research Hub, and there's other organizations which are also doing paid peer review services. So, and we're hoping to work with them and others. I think we can really, through the blockchains, right? And through tokens, we can really have systems where people can be where our different services can be unified. All right. So what is TLDR? So it is a on-demand peer review service. Kind of a glib punchline would be that it's like Uber for peer review, right? It's an on-demand service. If you want your research reviewed, you want your whatever you're developing reviewed, we have a service who can do that for a fee. It's journal agnostic, so other journals can use this. It's different from the longevity. It's a peer review service that can be used by other journals. And we already have a group of editors that split apart from Aging Cell, which are interested in using it. So it will be an exciting initiative to do. It also is doing peer review on preprints, not on already published work that's already has peer reviews. It's focusing on these, the kind of the preprints because those are, widely accessible, openly published. And then similarly, like with Longevis, it has several benefits for VDAO and the DeSci community. In this case, we actually think it could be a revenue source as well as creating knowledge and helping with deal flow. So a similar kind of list of advantages. Reviewers, again, the people doing all the work get compensated, not the kind of the administrative system gets the money. So we think that's helpful. And then also the peer reviews will be stored on IPFS. So again, kind of permanently accessible information, and then can coexist again with public status. Actually, our service can be used by the journals to do the peer review because there actually is a huge shortage of people willing to do peer reviews. As you can imagine, right, the more journals that get launched, the more people are asked to do reviews. I actually was in academia until recently, and I was always happy to peer reviews for free. Use a ton of my time, but eventually it just becomes too much, and you just stop participating because it's just too much. And so, journals are really suffering from this these days, even the top ones. Um, so I think having a system where people are actually paid for their time is a way, I think, to help everybody, including the existing journals. Okay, so just in summary, TLDR is a service. We think it's just a more time cost efficient, it's a composable approach to peer review, and the Longevus is similarly, but it's focused on publishing and being an overlay journal. So both of them are trying to improve the scientific record. The Longevus is focused on KOLs, of people that are kind of very established in their career, and all they do is vote on the preprints. They don't provide peer review, whereas TLDR is more for providing financial incentives for trainees or people earlier in their career to review the preprints to really help improve them. And this can be a service that provides that can be um, journal agnostic, so those reviews can be used by any journal who would be interested in them. And I'd just like to thank all the people that are contributing to this. There's actually more than that can fit on this slide, but just to highlight a few folks. So Reese Anderson is really leading the charge with the Longevus, and Petros Sideris is really a key person in building kind of the Web3 aspects of TLDR. So thanks for your attention. Appreciate it.